Hey there everyone, I'm FreeJayFly, and I'm here with a review of Borderlands Pre-Sequel, since I've been able to beat it recently. That said, I'm going to go into a lot of things from the previous game, so if you're not interested in possible spoilers, I do suggest not watching, or at least waiting until you know more about the series before continuing this video. Well, unless of course you don't care about spoilers, in which case, carry on. While this warning does break the mold of my reviews in the sense that I don't really like spoiling things for anyone, I personally do not believe that I'll be able to do this review without using prior knowledge of having played and beat both Borderlands 1 and 2, since, as the name implies of this game, it is a pre-sequel to the Borderlands 2 game and a sequel to Borderlands 1. So, with anyone that might have clicked away to either catch up on the lore itself or immerse themselves in the games, I shall continue on with this review. The first thing I definitely want to address is how all the playable characters that are in Pre-Sequel are recurring characters. As far as I know, the Borderlands series has not done this, and especially not in this sense. You might remember Athena, the amazing battle queen that she is, as being part of the General Knox DLC for the original Borderlands game. The more blatantly obvious characters would have to be Nisha the Lawbringer and Wilhelm the Enforcer. For those of us that have completed Borderlands 2, or at least got up to those points, we know Wilhelm is the first massive loader that we get the pleasure of fighting and defeating before Saturn. After that, we meet Nisha, who happens to be the Sheriff of Lynchwood, aka Handsome Jack's girlfriend at the time. Even the CL4 PTP unit that is playable in this game, or rather FR4G TP, is a unit that digs you out of the snow when you begin your adventure in Borderlands 2. Something that you only learn upon beating the game and watching the credits roll by the pre-sequel. Delving deeper into the characters and how they interact with the story, I personally find Gearbox and 2K Australia's attention to them far more of an improvement than when I had played Borderlands 2. While it seemed that Borderlands 2's DLCs seemed to start expanding upon their characters and the way they interacted with certain things, I'm happy to see that Gearbox and 2K Australia had incorporated this and brought more life to their characters rather than the laughter of getting critical kills or the wanting quips of finding good loot or mocking their partners when they were helping them back up on their feet. More on that aspect, the characters even have quotes that pertain to other characters when they activate skills, which is very new. I mean, just listen to these sound bites from the game.
Thanks for the air support, Wilhelm. Nisha's ready to kill.
Bash some skulls, Athena! You might be enjoying this too much, Nisha!
Drones ain't as fun as up-close torture. Just saying. Don't hog all the aggro, Athena! I hate you worse than puppies, Claptrap!
For the first time in a review, I really want to focus on the characters instead of my favorite bit, music. There are a lot of improvements already with just the way the characters are in this game, and it really brings more life to the world, or worlds, of Borderlands, and I really think that that is amazing. That Gearbox and 2K have decided to expand upon that to really make this a suitable and immersive and fun FPS RPG. For the first time in a Borderlands game, I can actually pick up a character and say I relate to them more than the others I've played. While it might not be 100%, I definitely have more feelings and stuff in common playing as Athena and seeing her as a character within the game than I did playing as Lilith from Borderlands 1 or Maya from Borderlands 2. And that's honestly just because of the additional lengths that the writers and developers decided to go with the characters in this particular part of the series. Overall, the characters are just more fun, more vibrant, and definitely hold much more personality than any of the characters of the previous two games. And I love all the character designs for Borderlands, and I love pretty much all of them. But the characters in Pre-Sequel definitely take the cake in terms of how much more fleshed out they are in comparison to the last two games. And wow, shit, did I really write 9 paragraphs on characters alone? That's amazing. The other thing that I actually enjoyed about this game was how it threw you into the game, assuming that you already played the other games, because why wouldn't you have? There's minimal hand-holding, and it seems to go ahead and just let you do your thing. Once thrusted into the game, I actually felt a little more powerful than I usually do starting out in a Borderlands game, but that might just be me personally. The last thing I enjoyed about this game was the introduction of cryo weapons, and I honestly hope in the next Borderlands game there will be more of those. Because while burning, electrocuting, melting or making my enemies explode was always a good feeling, I don't think any of those feelings hold a candle to how I felt when I realized I could freeze my enemies in place and actually have a better form of crowd control. And what about being on the moon, on Elpis, having that low gravity and getting to enjoy the aesthetics and vastness of space? I think the inclusion of the Oz kits was really cool, as well as the fact that you can double jump and also butt slam to the ground if you want. It adds a new mechanic to the game that can be either detrimental to you if you let it slip your mind that there's something going on, or it can be, you know, a benefit because, hey, butt slamming also, you know, sometimes dazes your enemies for a short bit while you get back up on your feet. It's cool to me, but it might not be so agreeable to others. Moving on to the other aspects of the game, the music is definitely a little catchier than what it was in Borderlands 1 and seems to be on par with Borderlands 2. While I'm not personally a fan of the intro and the credits song, I mean, I've even forgotten the theme and the lyrics at this point, but I suppose they'll fit someone's fancy out there. So really, that's my thoughts for music. It's kind of disappointing, not gonna lie, because I really love talking about music, but sadly, usually the music for Borderlands never really impresses me. The only music that I really like is like Moxxi's Underdome from, you know, the DLC from Borderlands 1, and Fink's Slaughterhouse from Borderlands 2, and there's none of that in Borderlands Pre-Sequel, and that's actually really disappointing. That's my biggest disappointment with music. But anyways, the story of the game is also how you would expect it to be, really. You know, it is a Borderlands game, but this game covers the time between the first Borderlands and the second. It dives more into Handsome Jack and the metaphorical Phoenix of Hyperion and the involvement of the Dahl Corporation. So like Atlas in Borderlands 1 and Hyperion in Borderlands 2, Dahl is the one that you're fighting against to achieve the ending of this adventure. And I really do like how this is all going on with the gun corporations. Unfortunately, Atlas didn't get to make it from Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2 because you took down their corporation. But Atlas guns were amazing. Holy hell. But I would like to see this more in future games, like what's Maliwan up to, or what's Tedior doing? Like, come on, we already know about Torg. Let's go to like Maliwan and Jacobs even. Let's see them later on. But anyways, I'm totally derailing. I'm sorry about that. The whole story is told from Athena's point of view. That's not really accounting for the characters that you get to play as either, since it's already established that Wilhelm and Nisha are dead at this point. Athena is captured, and nobody wants to talk to a claptrap. I mean, come on. It only makes sense that it's her telling the story. Something else I thought was pretty neat to the game, but definitely not something I think makes the game. I just thought it was cool. It's just all a flashback. But in general, since it is a Borderlands game, it is how you would chalk it up to be. It still holds the same elements of the old Borderlands games, and the major feature is the near infinite number of guns that we have randomly generated for those that are interested. One of the things I really wish they brought back was the color chooser that Borderlands 1 originally had to customize the character that you were playing as, because after all, the colors that are sometimes introduced are just absolutely horrible. They're train wrecks, and you know, probably nobody ever uses those colors because they're hideous. Out of all the Borderlands games as well, this one is the buggiest. Players have experienced random black screens. I have even experienced my game just stopping on me, and that's not just a crash to desktop, a freeze. Nothing was happening. I had no control. I had to Control-Alt-Delete to force close the game. Let's also not forget that one of the quests I was doing is now moot. I am unable to complete it due to a bug that does not make the required person spawn to complete the quest. I'm looking at you, another pickle quest. And yes, shutting off my game and turning it back on does not make it suddenly work. Another one of the bugs that comes with the introduction of cryo weapons, actually, as much as I love the new element, but if you find yourself in need of a second wind, or you simply died under the influence of cryo weaponry, or cryo barrels, cryo grenades, that is really difficult to say, you better hope that you have a cryo grenade or are near a cryo barrow to reverse the effects, or you're pretty much just better off restarting your game unless you want to play in extreme slow motion mode until you can find a aforementioned barrel or procure a cryo grenade mod. I have experienced this unpleasant bug just once, thank God, but it also seems to be a recurring thing for other players that I have found. Other bugs include clipping and getting stuck. Sometimes you'll have to restart your game just because the last quest item you need to clip through the ground or a container makes it impossible to get to complete your quest. Oh, and heaven forbid that you open an ammo container next to a wall unless you want to get stuck with no way out. Which, by the way, is a goddamn chore on single player mode with no one to help you once you get incapacitated due to blowing yourself up with grenades just to get out of the situation. With the bugs and the fact that this is easily the shortest Borderlands game, I would give it, sadly, a 6 out of 10. I love the game, but this one does hurt. It really does. It hurts me. Much as I love the expansion on characters and some of the other mechanics, there are just too many things wrong with Borderlands Pre-Sequel that does have to be patched by the development team. And with as short as the game is, I was able to beat this one in like 3 days as opposed to a couple of weeks. And with all the bugs it has, I would honestly save that $60 for something else until Pre-Sequel is at a lower price. Like, I'm sorry, Gearbox. I'm sorry, 2K Australia. I love the Borderlands series. And you have a loyal fan in me. But overall, this game doesn't hold well to both Borderlands games before this one. Maybe patch it up a bit, yeah? Like, don't charge $60 for a game that's not as long as its predecessors. Like, come on. Anyways, that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you later. And no matter who you are, I hope you're having a wonderful day, wonderful week, wonderful whatever it is. And I hope to see you later. Bye!